Hi guys, welcome back to Pro Shop. It's Anika here today. Pete has been so busy and has been a little bit slack putting out videos. So Barney and I have just pulled up to the factory and we're going to go inside and see what he's working on today. Barney, come on. Barney, where's Dad? Go get him. Go get him. Hi, darling. Oh, put this on. We want to see what you're up to today.
Okay. Alright. Hello. Hello.
So what are you working on today?
On the Camaro. Hang on a sec.
Turn your gangster music off.
Let me just...
So the Camaro's back from paint.
Camaro is back from paint. So I suppose I'll just start from the start. Because
Yeah, tell us what you've been doing.
Been filming a lot. I just haven't had a chance to put a video together on it. We got the front rails powder coated. Anything that wasn't painted was powder coated. And I bolted all of them in. And then I could put the motor and gearbox in. Went together beautifully. Then I could fit the extractors, the X-pipe and the mufflers, bolted all that in, and then I could just weld the V-bands for a final time.
Barney wants something out of his toy box, I think.
Yep. What do you want, Barney?
Good picking.
Good one. Back to the Camaro. As I said, bolted the exhaust in, just for its final clearance checks, welded all the V-bands, and then sent the whole exhaust out to get ceramic coated. As you can see, it's come up beautifully.
Looks good.
All that was ceramic coated. The only thing that wasn't were the two rear mufflers and the fuel tank, which has all been textured powder coat, this is what it is here. It's this nice textured finish, powder coating for a bit more durability. There's a lot of work in this fuel tank and I'll run through it quickly. We'll start with the fuel system because that's what I'm doing at the moment is the fuel system. I just finished the brake lines. I'll go over that in a second. So I use this Aeromotive fuel pump hanger. It's a dual pump hanger and it's got this low profile design on it, which means that you can just put the fittings straight out there without having to put a 90-degree on them. And that helps because there is only about an inch of room between the top of this tank and the bottom of the boot floor. So I managed to put that in. I got the fuel sender in this side, and this is all designed because the exhaust actually comes through here out to the rear mufflers. It's all really tight. We wanted to try and get the biggest tank possible underneath the car, so this is it. The other little thing that had to go on legally was a rollover valve, and this is if the car, hope it doesn't, rolls over, it locks off with a little ball bearing and it will stop any fluid coming out. But when it's upright, it will breathe, so air can come in and out. And this was a little job in itself because I had to be on the top of the tank, and as I said before, the boot floor is only an inch away, so I had to make a little cavity. If you can see up here, this little cavity, I couldn't have this going into the boot floor because this would be breathing fumes into the boot area, which we can't have. So this has to be mounted on the outside, but still up there, so they can come up and the breather hose can run down. And yeah, a lot of little work, but legal, have to do it. Obviously the filler neck is on the inside of the car. Other things, a lot of speed flow fittings, went down to Motorsport Connections and picked up a lot of speed flow fittings. They're expensive, but they're the best. Aussie made, I love them. Some people don't want to spend the money, but on my personal builds, I do. Okay, brake lines, all the brake lines are done, front to back, all the hard lines are done. The soft lines on the front actually came with the car. That was part of all the boxes of parts. Boxes of parts included these Corvette calipers, and the brake lines came with it, so they bolted on. And I just did the hard lines up into the master cylinder. And that all runs through the inside of the car, out the back. And you'll see, if you come on this side, I've just got a tube nut sitting there with a 45 off it, and then that goes up and over to the other side, which is the other end of the hose. And I'll just put them on everywhere, and then I can measure the hoses getting made, and I'll just send that measurement out to Motorsport Connection. They'll make up the line for me, and I also do a soft line from here to the caliper, because if you do a hard line to here, when you want to pull the caliper off and change your brakes, then you actually have to undo the tube nut and bleed the brakes again. You can see here I just trial fit all of this up just so I can get the fuel lines, all the clearances, put the fuel filter in there, and then I'll have to pull that out, mount the tank, and then mount the mufflers. The mufflers have been, as I said, powder coated. I just have to get some muffler packing and pack them all, and then they can be assembled into the back of the car. I'll do that once the tank's in, mufflers can go in. So the inside, alright, so show where we're up to on this. Alright, we're at the back, so we'll start at the back.
Okay.
Dynamat, sound deadening. The whole floor has been done. If you see in the front, from the firewall, up the firewall, right up to the parcel tray, the boot wall, everything, floor, tunnel, it's all been done. Boot floor, up in the side panels have all been done, and the doors. It's just, yeah, it's heavier, but this isn't a race car. It just takes all the drumming out. We're in the middle of the wiring stage. I just have to get, as I said, the fuel system in, and then I can start bolting the front guards on, doing all the headlights, and then the auto electrician is coming out to wire the whole car. Batteries mounted, the electric aircon is mounted, and then if you look underneath here,
Ooh, what's that?
right up underneath here, is the AccuAir Endo air tank, and these are really nice. So actually the compressor and the solenoid are on the inside of the tank, so that's all you have. Just obviously the brains unit is up there. For now I just have it all connected up to an air line, so I can push the car up and down, so then I don't have to power the tank up. Handbrake, actually that was another thing underneath the car I didn't show you, the electric e-stop handbrake. The mechanism sits underneath the car, brains will sit underneath the dash, and then it's just a push button on, push button off. This is the fun thing about building an Aussie car.
Sorry.
We have to jump through hoops. This is all the wiring for the self-leveling kit for the airbags. Our laws state that it has to have this, so it is always under pressure and it knows what height the whole car is. Every single corner of the car has its own sensor, so we've got to fit that. Also the controller for the AccuAir. We've got keyless entry, electric boot lock, which goes in here, which is already bolted in. This is the filler neck.
Ah.
We can have this mounted on the inside. It just has to have, well, it doesn't have to have a drain, but it's got to be totally sealed. It can't have a breather in it. This is the factory, brace for the boot lock. And also in there is that little cavity where the rollover valve sticks up in.
Yeah.
So it's not protruding in the boot everywhere. There's still a flat floor. It's just tucked it in there. And then this goes down, mounts there. We've got a cap here. And then if you are filling it up and you overflow, it'll splash into the little catch tray like a little trough. And then there's a drain hose that goes down out the bottom of the car. We actually couldn't put the fuel filler, they are behind the number plate. We actually couldn't put it because we rose the tank up that high that it would actually pour out. So we moved it to the inside. And yeah, I think that works fine. Keep on moving. Windows have been going in. I've got a quarter window in this side. Rear left quarter window is on back order from the States. So waiting on parts. I don't know if anyone else is waiting on parts because they're pretty hard to get at the moment.
All I hear is that you're waiting on parts.
Waiting on parts. Waiting on parts, yes. Barney, what have you got there?
Oh, he loves the cleaning vinegar, hey?
Barney?
It's
Barney.
empty, guys, don't worry.
What are you doing?
It's empty. What have you found? Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good boy. And slowly we'll come to the front.
Ooh.
All the hard work is, okay? BK Race Engines built this motor. It is a 1,000 horsepower, big block, naturally aspirated, carbureted. Today, before I was nicely interrupted, I was doing the fuel line. So the fuel rail went in and I've just been doing all different bends. So if you look over here, if you look down here, so these are the two hard lines, the return line and the main line. So they come up here and then they'll go to the fuel reg and then the fuel rail on that side. Jeez, Barney.
Hello, my boy. You just wanted to get in the shot, didn't ya?
Okay. So, as I said, everything's been fitted. I think the last thing I was talking about was probably the wipers. I've just got to do the wipers, but I can't fit them until I fit the glass. We can't fit the glass until the headlining is done. Headlining can't be done until the interior is done. So there is a little bit of a process. The only thing I'm going to do after I finish the rear end of the fuel tank and the mufflers is bolt the front end on. And this is something that Anika's going to help me out with because it's very, very delicate to do this, and I can't do it by myself.
Okay.
Fitting big guards, the inner guards, all have to be bolted together without damaging anything. Guard has to go on, front nose has to go on, the other guard has to go on, and then the bonnet has to go on and be all perfectly aligned. It's going to take a little bit of time and some delicate hands. And then once that's on, I can fit the lights because it's got retractable electric lights, and then the car can get wired. So that's going to be just around the corner. When that front end is on, also the radiator will be in, so I can do the radiator hoses. The condenser will be mounted, so I can do the air conditioning lines throughout the car. They've got to go to the front, to the dryer, to the condenser, run up to the pump, and then to the evaporator unit underneath the dash. So actually, still got a lot to do.
Gosh, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
No wonder you're so busy.
I think there'll be a whole video just on the interior because the interior is going to be really, really nice. Going to have lights and billet vents and switches and controls and everything. It's going to look cool. So that's the kind of a surprise video.
Thanks for letting us crash your day.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for giving us an update.
I cannot wait to hear this thing run. Stick around for that one.
Well, there you go, guys. That's what Pete has been up to at the moment, and he's given us a little update on the Camaro. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and the next video will be out soon. And here's a little goodbye from Barney. Barney, say bye.
Thanks for watching.